Hello, it is Eva here. I am in my pajamas. I just woke up from a nap. We had a very random, unscheduled power outage today here in Guatemala, and I'm going to talk about that in today's live. But right now, I am making dinner because I have to work tonight because because we had a very random, unscheduled power outage, and the power outage started at 10 o'clock this morning, and it's now 5, I don't even know what time it is, 5:30, 5, 5:45. The power, what, these are my pajamas. The power came back on. The power came back on at 5. So I went and had a nap. Anyway, so I just wanted to share a little bit about some of the more stressful things, not stressful, frustrating, if you will, things that happen here in my little town in Guatemala. I'm not going to say that this happens all around the country because I don't think it does. It definitely happens. Hi, Melissa. No trivia tonight because we're going to get to that right now. So, but it happens a lot in my little town, and so generally, they usually schedule. I have to turn this around. We have 4 to 6 scheduled power outages. They're the whole day. It's 10 to 5 or 10 to 4 or 8 to 4, whatever. They make up their own hours, but they're all scheduled, and they give us a generally 3 to 5 days notice. They'll put a notice out on Facebook, and then the 3 news pages on Facebook for our area will send those messages out, and then everybody gets them, and then we all are notified that there is a scheduled power outage, and it is happening on this day from this time to this time. So everybody knows, and you prepare for that day. You can't work, or you may have to go find a place that has a generator. Thanks, Melissa. Or because generally stores and businesses have generators because they know that this is a scheduled power outage day. They pull out the generator, they plug it in, and they have power for the day when we have no power days. So 99.9% of the time they're scheduled. Well, today's wasn't scheduled. Today's just kind of went poof. And it was literally, in the morning, I was working on an article for my website. And then I had Spanish class. And then after my Spanish teacher left, I came back inside to finish up my article. And it was probably like 9:30 in the morning, I'm thinking. And the lights went out, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So yeah, it was about 9:30, quarter to 10. I thought, okay, well, we'll see what it is, because maybe it was just a 5-minute power outage. Sometimes the lights will go out randomly for 15 minutes, to an hour. So I went on the Facebook group and I said, hey, did anybody lose their power? And that's when I found out that they were working on the power lines. It was an unscheduled power outage that was going to last all day, and I wasn't prepared for an all-day power outage because I was working on an article that I needed to get done today. So I packed up my cares and woes. I packed up so I don't have a laptop that I can just carry with me. I have a computer box, and I attach it to a 27-inch monitor, so I can't just take my little computer box with me, and it's not portable like that. I have to take my monitor too, or go to an internet cafe or somewhere I can plug it into a monitor, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't take my computer with me, so I do have a Chromebook, which I fire up in cases of emergencies, like today. And I went to a little restaurant here that me and my friend meet for lunch every Friday. So I went there, and they have Wi-Fi. She said, come here, we have Wi-Fi. I'm like, okay, I was going to come for lunch anyway. That's cool. So I go there to work. I thought, I'm going to do some work. We'll have lunch. Well, it was so loud I couldn't work, and it's loud like that everywhere. So I couldn't really work. So we had lunch, and we just sat and shot the shit. And then I came home. It was, I don't know, 2, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to bed. Yeah, right. I'm going to bed. So I went and I laid down and I had a nap for like, I just woke up. So my nap was like 3 hours long. It was a long nap. And the power's back on, so it's time. Is it 5:45? I do have to get this article out, so I do have to work tonight, and it's probably maybe an hour or two. So getting back to a day in the life in Guatemala. Oh, that light is, sorry about that. That light is probably, there we go. Back to a day in the life in Guatemala. So that's kind of some of the things that happened. So life isn't perfect here. Hang on a second. Life isn't perfect here by any stretch of the imagination. Give me a second. Sit tight, everybody. Shit goes wrong. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the shitty things that happen here, because independent of the fact that it is really beautiful here, I absolutely love my life here. I absolutely love living here. It doesn't come without there's a good word, inconveniences. It doesn't come without inconveniences. Government is installing solar panels. Solar panels where? No, I don't think that, I can't have it. I don't think they're coming here. So we have random power outages, very, very random, independent, aside from the scheduled power outages, we have independent ones. They just, somebody ran into a telephone pole, or a transformer blew, or lightning struck who knows, I don't know. They're very random, and it's rainy season now. So power outages happen a lot more often than not. Usually the very random ones can last like an hour or so. Now, with that said, I've had a power outage last for 3 days, and Dave, if you're still here, I don't know if you remember. You must remember that I lived over in this wonderful, wonderful neighborhood, nice house. I had a crazy neighbor, which is why I left. We had a power outage in that neighborhood that lasted for 3 days. I was about ready to lose my motherfucking mind. It was crazy. That was the longest one I've ever lived through. So the power outage thing is a little bit annoying when it happens. The noise, so I went to my friend's restaurant. It's not it's kind of like a little cafe, eatery, restaurant. So I went there, and it's on the corner of a busy street. Can use the Wi-Fi. It was loud. There's people. It's loud. I can't work. I don't know how people work at internet cafes and all those places. Well, probably in Canada and the United States, they're not quite as loud as they are here in Guatemala, because the ones here, the traffic is loud. It's just loud all the time. And I'm going to just move right into the next thing here. Another one of the reasons why it's not so pretty, and it can be stressful here, is the traffic is really bananas, like top-notch bananas here. Nobody knows how to drive. Nobody has drivers. I'm pretty sure nobody here has driver's licenses. I don't know who gives them out if they do have driver's licenses, because nobody knows how to drive. They all drive like maniacs. Driving is very stressful. I already had an accident. It was totally my fault though, and that's not because I was driving like a maniac. I had nothing to do with it. That's because the guy in front of me slammed on his brakes for no reason that I could see. He slammed on his brakes. It was a tuk-tuk. He slammed on his brakes, and I smashed into him so hard. Anyway, no damage done to the tuk-tuk. I totaled the front end of my scooter, so my beautiful black scooter now has stitches, and will have stitches forever, but that's okay. So driving can be a little stressful here. I'm gonna go sit down. Driving can be stressful here. Somebody had asked, I just want to touch upon a few things, and then I'm going to wrap this up because I do have to work, and I want to have dinner. Somebody had asked about air conditioning. If it was, they said, oh, you don't need air conditioning. So it's not hot here ever. Like, you never ever need air conditioning here. The temperature ranges from, like, I don't know Fahrenheit. You'll have to do the conversion yourself. The temperature ranges from, like, in the mornings and evenings are cool, but in the afternoons, like 22 to 27, 28 degrees Celsius. If we're having like an excessively hot day, it might be 29 degrees Celsius, but it never, like, you can't say, oh my God, today was a scorcher day. Like, the temperature is consistent all year round. Like, there's no, oh my God, it was a scorcher, or oh my, it's just the same all the time. So it's lovely. So no air conditioning is required. I do, with that said, I do have an electric fireplace that I use in the mornings, because the mornings are cool, because we don't have air conditioning or heat in your houses. You just don't. I do have a fireplace, but so right now I can't use my fireplace because my landlord is building another house right beside me, and there's not enough power for him to do his work, and because I think he's connected both houses on the same power, so when I try to use my fireplace now, I blow the power just in my house. So that's another thing that's kind of stressful, because everything is like MacGyvered here. Like, they just wires are taped together with electrical tape. There's no circuit breaker here. It's just, they wing it. It works. They have power. It's good. So, yeah. So no air conditioning, no heater. Well, heater, yeah, because I use my fireplace. Not everybody has an electric fireplace or needs heat. So the way my house is built, my upstairs is really nice and warm. I have it's all wood except for my back wall, which is concrete. But the sun, obviously I get the heat from the sun upstairs. So my upstairs is really, really warm. My main floor is always usually pretty cool. So using my fireplace in the morning and in the evening, well, I can't right now, until the landlord fixes that whole electricity thing. And I don't think he's in too big of a hurry to do that, because he is working on this other house that he's building. So while I'm gonna say that he is a really, really good landlord, I'll give him that. Considering he is a Guatemalan, he is a really, really good landlord. But there are some things that he's not in any big hurry to fix, which is fine. It's okay. They're not emergencies. And so here's the thing, when I do have emergencies, because I have had emergencies here, he's here right away. He comes right away. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Patricia. So I think it is, to be honest. I think they're well, so there's another house in front of me that he owns, and I know that my house and that house, we're connected on the same power grid box thing. So I blew the fuse here once, quite a few months ago, before he started working on the house. I blew a fuse here once. We'll just say fuse for lack of another word. And I blew the house in front of me as well, because we're connected. So these two houses are connected. So if he plans on connecting this third house, he's gonna have to have another power supply. Like, that's a given. Like, there's no way you'll be able to run 3 houses, or you will be able to, but you just will only be able to use your lights. You won't be able to use anything else, just your lights. You won't be able to use fans or my blow dryer or anything like that. so there's that. But so it's not, a lot of things. Here, I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm making dinner. And this isn't gonna be a long live. So there are things that aren't perfect here. there are things that are kind of stressful. I burnt my bacon. Wah, wah. There are things that are kind of stressful here. And I think, you know, so I've been here for 10 years now. And like for me, and I know for a lot of people, so a lot of my friends who are, I want to say over 60, but I don't think yeah, probably over 60, over 70. A lot of my friends have returned back to their countries. Like I had two friends go back to Germany, one friend went back to Australia, two went back to the United States for medical care, because they have access to medical care in their own countries. I don't know if I don't think it's free. A couple went back for their pension. Cost of three went back to Germany. So that's one thing that hasn't really crossed my mind yet, is do I have to go back to Canada? Like I should go back to Canada. This is bullshit. It's getting stressful. It's getting hard. Blah blah blah. I haven't ever thought like that. I need to go back to Canada. I think if it ever comes down to that, if I ever say I need to go back to Canada, there's something mentally wrong with me, and check me into a mental hospital or something. I couldn't go back to Canada. I couldn't even afford to live in Canada, even if I wanted to, because it's so expensive. I would have to, I don't know, go live in a homeless shelter or something. But, you know, regardless of all the things that are really wrong here, you know, no country is perfect. Canada's not perfect. The United States isn't perfect. You know, England, nothing is perfect. I've probably, in the last 10 years that I've been here, because that's how long, this year will be 10 years that because I'll be 63 this year, and I moved here when I was just after my 53rd birthday. So in the last 10 years that I've lived here, I can honestly probably say that I've never been happier in my entire life. Like my life here is real. I feel really free, and I feel like life is really easy here, regardless of the little, you know, things that happen that piss me off. Life is much easier here than it is in Canada. It's certainly more affordable. I mean, you can live here quite easily. I'm going to say like on $1,500 a month, maybe even less. I'm pretty sure there are people here. Oh, without a doubt, there are people here, and I'm talking about Americans, Canadians, foreigners, maybe even locals. Well, definitely locals. But foreigners that definitely live on under $1,500 a month here. You just get, you know, you get a room or in a house or wherever, and the room is maybe you pay $150, $200 a month for a room, and then your food is like ridiculously affordable here to eat. You can eat out every day for, I'm going to say, you could probably eat out every day for probably like maybe $15 to $20 a day. Now that's eating like, you know, eggs and beans or whatever at the little restaurant-y thingies around town on the streets. You can eat very affordably on it at any of those. Anyways, I have to check my pasta. One more second. Stand by. So, yeah, you can definitely live here on on less than $1,500 a month if you ever decided. If you ever decided you wanted to leave your country, it's easy to move here. Hang on 1 second. Easy to move here. Sorry about that. The thing about it is that, and I know a lot of people, oh, sorry, you can't even see me. So a lot of people, here's something. I know a lot of Americans and a lot of maybe Canadians too, I don't know, move to Mexico because there's a lot more first world services in Mexico than there are in Guatemala. Like you can't get Amazon here. There's a lot of things that you just can't get here, that you don't have here. lot of little, like, they're luxuries here, but in Canada, it was normal and part of life, but they become luxuries here because you just can't get them. So if you're used to living that, like, you definitely need to live it's definitely a minimalist life here. Oh, I forgot to prepare my oil. It's definitely like you live on, here in my little town, you can walk everywhere. You don't got to take public transportation. You got to walk everywhere. You do your laundry, you hang it outside. Not very many places have dryers. Not very many houses have bathtubs. A lot of the showers are electric showers. You don't have gas hot water showers. Your water in your sink is cold. You don't have hot water in the sink, in your kitchen sink to wash your dishes. I do. I actually asked my landlord to connect the hot water to the kitchen sink because when I color my hair, I rinse my hair in the kitchen sink. So that's why I have hot water in the kitchen sink. Otherwise, it would be cold. And you wash your dishes in cold water. I just want to check this. 5% do not have enough money to, I believe it. Yeah, it's very expensive. I was in Canada. What's your name, Zan? I was in Canada in last year. I wasn't able to go this year. I couldn't afford to go this year because I had a lot of health issues this year that I had to pay cash out of pocket for doctors and blah blah blah. Anyway, when I went to Canada last year, I stayed at my sister's for a couple of weeks, and yeah, like I don't know how people afford to live there. It's unbelievable. She's very, very lucky. Well, so here, just to put it into perspective. So when I left Canada, here's something. When I left Canada 10 years ago, my apartment I lived in a 3-story building that had 10 units maybe. It was one of the nicer, newer-ish, more modern. It was modern. It was one of the more modern buildings in that neighborhood that I lived in. And I was paying $1,100 a month for a 1-bedroom. I had to pay my own hydro. And in that apartment, I had electric heat. So I had to pay for my own heat. It was electric heat, which is, maybe it's common or becoming common there. It's really expensive. So my monthly bills in the winter, like, and I'm talking from November to, pardon me, April, were like almost $300 a month, because I had electric heat. So that was heat and hydro. It was $300 a month, and my rent was $1,100. So I was paying almost $1,500 a month for that little 1-bedroom apartment. That 1-bedroom apartment now, today, 10 years later, is probably about $2,000. Like, I don't know how anybody can afford, pardon me, hang on, I need to get a drink, I'm choking on something. I don't know how anybody can afford to live in Canada or the United States. And because the food prices, my sister constantly, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe the price of chicken. And she would tell me, and I'm like, chicken costs that much? That's crazy. Like, how do people afford to eat, to pay their rent? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Hang on, I'm joking. And I just wanted to read this one. Hang on a sec. Let me just read this. How is veterinary care? Veterinary care. So, well, hang on a second. And we do have animal hospitals. Yeah. Animal hospital. Well, okay. So, beyond ready to leave the U.S., the apartment next door still sounds very appealing. I work from home, but I have Melissa, you can work anywhere in the world. What are you staying there for? Yeah, why are you staying there? If you can work anywhere in the world, if you work from home, if you work online from home, then just leave. So I volunteer with 3 organizations here, 3 animal organizations here, and there's a certain vet that we go to. And one of my street dogs, he just finished chemo treatment. He had chemo treatment there. They can pay rent. They go to food banks. That's so sad. Like, that's so sad. Hang on. I'm trying to make dinner and talk at the same time. Clearly, Eva can't multitask. Give me a second. So we do have lots of good vet care, good veterinarians here, good vet animal hospitals. As far as testing and all that stuff, I guess they have good testing. I don't know. None of the animals I know have ever died from going to the vets here. And we take all of our dogs and cats from the streets to that's three. The three actually. So we have good vet care here, good animal care here. So that's good. So hang on a second, I need garlic in it. So anyway, it's affordable here, it's beautiful here, I love the weather, but most of all, here for me in Guatemala, and my pasta's gonna get gross. It's the people. I've never met nicer people in my life. Guatemalan people really are, they're so beautiful. Whoops, they're so beautiful, and they're friendly, and they're sweet, and they're helpful, and they're kind, and they're just, ow, damn it. They're just fun people. I can't even describe them in any way. I think I just lost something. They're just really fun people. I love Guatemalans. And I can't say that. I think I've been to like 10 countries. You know, obviously other travelers have been to a hell of a lot more countries than I have. But Guatemalans are my favorite people in the whole wide world. They're my absolute favorite people. They're amazing. They're amazing people. I love it here. The culture. So the biggest thing, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. The biggest thing here, I think one of the things, it's almost like you can have like a love-hate relationship with this. Everything here is, don't worry, you know, nobody's in a rush. Nothing phases anybody. Everybody's late for everything. Nobody cares. Everybody, you know, oh, don't worry, Eva, it's okay. You know, don't worry, Eva. Don't panic. That's their biggest thing. Don't worry, it's okay. And at the end of the day, everything is okay, and there was really nothing to worry about. Like that's just the mindset they have. Yeah, it's very frustrating in the beginning when you first get here, because coming from Canada, and I suppose if you're coming from America, we're in a very rush, hurry up, let's go, everybody's on time. It's 10 o'clock. What are you doing? You're supposed to be, you know what I mean? We're like that. Here, it's not like that. If somebody tells you they're going to be here at 10, don't expect them anytime before 11 o'clock. And that's just the way it is. There's no reason to rhyme to it. That's just the way it is. And you just accept that that's how it is. So it's a very simple, no rush, no stress, no go life. Everything gets done. Nobody's in a hurry. Nobody really cares about anything. So I just wanted to share that with you. I just wanted to check one more comment here, and then I'm gonna have to go because my dinner's ready. Doing somewhere I don't have to deal with dogs. Yeah, don't come here then. Dogs barking all the time. Dogs are rated high. It hasn't been good. Yeah, there's dogs. There are dogs barking here all the time. So the place it's like, I don't know, 100 feet. Well, it's on the other side of the little dirt path here. There's a house there, and I swear to God, they have 25. I'm sure they have 25 dogs on their roof. I'm sure of it. And when they all bark at the same time, it is crazy. But they go off usually about 3 times a day. They go off in the morning for breakfast. They go off in the afternoon for dinner. And then they go off in the evening, sometimes at like between 10 and 11, sometimes 11:30, which is really annoying. But those dogs, and I'm sure there's 25 of them, they all bark at the same time. And then the owner goes in and shuts them up. But that goes on sometimes for about 10 or 15 minutes, which is super annoying. But any other neighborhood that I've ever lived in, there's always dogs. No matter where you live, it doesn't matter. There's always dogs barking. There's a lot of dogs. There are a lot of dogs. That's another downside. For me, it's not. But if you don't like dogs, and in Melissa's case, dogs barking, if you don't like that whole dog culture thing, this is definitely not the place for you, because we do have a street dog problem. There are dogs everywhere. Like there's just dogs. There's dogs everywhere. There's dog shit when you're walking on the street because there's street dogs. I mean, it's bad. If you don't like dogs. It doesn't really bother me, obviously, because I do a lot of volunteering with the dogs and the street dogs here, so I don't mind it. But yeah, if you're not a dog person, or if you don't like dogs barking or that noise or dog shit or that, yeah, don't come here. And the dogs, for the most part, are not aggressive, the street dogs here, but there are packs, especially in the evening. If you're out in the, I think it's mostly down by the lake. There's a pack down by the lake in another little street that get a little aggressive. They've bitten a few people. Um, yeah, so anyway, so my dinner's ready, and this was a very impromptu live. I wasn't actually going to go live, but I thought I wanted to come on here and talk about a day in the life in Guatemala with no power, because we had no power today. And I thought it would be a perfect time to explain here that sometimes life isn't perfect, and we do have these random power outages that do drive me batshit crazy, but it is what it is. I have my power back, and I have to work tonight, and so be it. So I hope you, thanks for being here anyway and listening to me rant about my power outage. Don't forget to, like, subscribe if you're new. If you're just new here in Washington, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to like the video, and I'll catch y'all back here on, so next week's live, next Friday's live, we are going to try this again. And we're gonna try and have another trivia night. It's gonna be trivia games night. We're gonna try it again. I think we're gonna try it one more time and see how it goes. And if it's mediocre to admit, then we're probably not gonna have it again. So yeah. Anyway, that's all. I love you guys. Goodbye from rainy season Guatemala.